In Denmark, where the electric vehicle adoption rate exceeds 50%, half of all cars sold in 2024 were EVs. The Tesla Model Y broke a 37-year sales record here. But in this EV paradise, the high-end Chinese brand NIO has quietly exited the market. We visited NIO, last remaining base in Denmark, to explore what happened to the brand that once boldly declared it would disrupt the European market. NIO only remaining showroom in Denmark is located in Ishøj, just outside Copenhagen, near a very remote highway exit. The location is quite puzzling. It's 22 kilometers from the city center, which is equivalent to driving from the 2nd ring road to the 5th ring road in Beijing. Compared to the luxurious NIO showrooms back home in China, this one is surprisingly modest. The showroom only has 2 models on display, the 85 and the EL8, along with a few scattered NIO branded products. It doesn't feel like a sales showroom at all. It's more like an office space, and there are no customers inside. I checked NIO Danish website and all their models are listed as for sale, but the actual sales for 2025 are listed as 0. At this point, NIO in Denmark is essentially a ghost of its former self. Why has NIO stalled in Denmark? We randomly interviewed some locals to uncover the 3 major challenges that have overwhelmed NIO in Denmark. First, let me clarify that this video isn't about criticizing. Chinese automakers are emerging worldwide, and they're navigating the path like everyone else, figuring things out as they go. As industry observers, our goal is to provide a real-world perspective on market demands and offer some insights to global brands to help guide their strategies. The first issue: NIO battery swapping model, which it heavily promotes in Europe, has faced a major setback in Denmark. Both the store employees and people on the street say that Danish consumers are more accustomed to charging their cars rather than using battery swapping stations.
Nah, I think in Denmark we are very, digitalized in recharging our batteries. We have a fantastic infrastructure. I know that, 5-6 years ago, something called Better Energy tried that business model. And it did not work out that well. Maybe because we're not that organized in Denmark. We just go with the flow, and then there's a charging station, and then I go for a run, and then that's it. I don't see that business model.
NIO only battery swapping station in Denmark is located in Slagelse, Copenhagen, about an hour's drive from the store in Ishøj. When we interviewed locals on the street, they were very direct in saying that even if this swapping station was only 5 kilometers away, they still wouldn't want to go.
It requires a lot of investment, and the infrastructure. If you take here in Copenhagen, where do you want to put one of these in Copenhagen? It's going to be very, very challenging. They only have 4 charging stations here. And I think this is one of the fewest charging stations that they have in Copenhagen, because the space is so limited. So I don't see it. And I live here in Frederiksberg. So for me to go 5 kilometers outside, I don't want to do that, no, waste of time.
The battery swapping station in Denmark is mostly used by tourists from Germany and Sweden, with Danish users making up only a tiny fraction. Currently, NIO still offers subscription services in Sweden, the Netherlands, and Germany, but Denmark has cancelled it. It's not that the battery swapping model is completely unfeasible. At least in Sweden, it's relatively successful thanks to user education.
I suppose the good things with it would be that I wouldn't have to sit around and wait for my vehicle to charge up. So I would say it's nice. I like the idea. I've never seen it. I've never heard of that before.
But here's the thing, NIO is still seriously underselling its best weapon, battery swapping. In Denmark, whether you look at the showroom or the official NIO websites, the battery swap story is barely visible. It's not even there, and honestly, if that's your killer feature, it should be the first thing people see. Because the numbers just don't add up. In Denmark, Tesla sells around 10,000 to 20,000 cars a year, but NIO sold only about 60 cars in 2 years. That's wild. Denmark isn't a huge car market, sure, but EV demand here is super strong. Just one model, the Tesla Model Y, sells about 900 units a month on average, roughly 10,000 a year. So yeah, pricing is clearly a big problem. The Tesla Model Y is about 30% cheaper than NIO lowest priced model. The NIO ES8 starts at around 800,000 Danish kroner, and the higher specs versions jump straight to 1 million kroner. That's Porsche level pricing, and honestly, it's so high it's hard to even understand. Even the sales staff at the NIO store admitted it. When people see that price, they don't even feel like booking a test drive. So why is it priced this crazy? The staff told us the pricing is set by NIO Europe HQ, and that decision is made back in China, which makes you wonder, did they really go on the ground and study what European customers actually want before setting these prices? And here's the reality check. One Danish engineer we interviewed drives a used Kia EV that costs only 170,000 Danish kroner.
Or like buy it secondhand.
Yeah.
For this electric vehicle, it was at the time it was the cheapest on the market. It was like 170,000 Danish in all.
That's true.
You couldn't get it cheaper. It's not a good car, I wouldn't say, but it's very cheap, yes.
This is what most real Europeans are like. They're not as rich as we sometimes imagine, like everyone's driving a Porsche. In Europe, there isn't really that fan club culture around cars, and you don't see big owner groups the same way. For most people, a car is just a family tool to get around, not a status symbol. Even if you drive a BMW, Mercedes-Benz or Audi, most people won't even look twice. They're super practical. They care about the price, and they're often even more price sensitive than consumers back home. They don't worship brands. Most of the time, they care more about value and safety. And that's exactly where NIO positioning runs into trouble in Europe. For many buyers, it's too expensive to afford. For the wealthy buyers, it's not attractive enough, or they simply don't buy into the premium story. When Europeans think high-end EV, the first choices are still Tesla and local luxury brands. So if you are a new brand entering a totally new market, but you don't adapt to local habits and instead you set a sky-high price and act super high-end, it just creates distance. Honestly, that kind of pricing doesn't even feel like it's meant to sell cars. So yeah, low sales are not surprising at all. To be fair, NIO didn't go global late at all. Their overseas plans has always been super high profile. To prove their premium brand, they poured huge money into building these massive new houses in the most expensive, most high traffic areas of Europe, like Oslo, Berlin, and Amsterdam, before they even really started selling cars. And local told us something kind of wild. Take the Amsterdam NIO house, for example. It's like 7 or 8 floors tall, but they were basically only using the ground floor. Just the rent alone is burning through tens of millions of RMB every year. And it's not just one place like that. NIO has 8 of these big NIO houses across Europe. In the European market, no car brand has made such a massive investment like this. Even the high-end luxury brands sell through dealerships rather than direct sales. Apart from Tesla, even the likes of BBA, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi haven't tried it. In much of Europe, trust comes first, and third-party dealers tend to make the sales more easily. When Europeans buy electric vehicles, they typically don't go to the brand's flagship store, and instead they head to the established trusted car dealers. That huge spend on building direct sales stores didn't turn into huge sales for NIO. In Q1 2025, NIO sold only 224 cars across all of Europe. And this is the key point. Going global isn't copy and paste. If you take the China playbook and force it onto Europe, building big NIO houses and battery swap stations while missing what local customers actually want, it just won't work. NIO Europe is currently stuck in a tough spot. If they keep their NIO houses open, money will just keep flowing out. But if they close them, they'll be accused of not being able to make it in international markets. And instead of being so passive, why not take a more cautious approach before entering every market? Do more thorough research, understand the local needs better. In this situation, I believe they need to make a bold decision. Face the reality of their failed strategies and make the hard call. Either work with local dealerships or shut down the NIO houses. There's no room for hesitation. That being said, it's encouraging to see a Chinese brand taking on the high-end market, and NIO's courage to try is commendable. I truly hope NIO succeeds. But the real question is, with all the massive investments poured into globalization, how much real value has it added to customer experience or sales? This isn't just something NIO needs to address. It's something every global brand should think about.